Amelia, thank you. We have an update for you this morning in the case against former Letcher County Sheriff Sean Mickey Steins. The Herald Leader reports new court documents reveal Steins is expected to testify in a federal civil trial stemming from allegations of sexual misconduct inside the county courthouse. Steins is accused of shooting and killing District Court Judge Kevin Mullins last year. He's listed as a witness in a lawsuit filed by a woman who accuses a former sheriff's deputy of coercing her into sexual acts to avoid home incarceration fees. According to court filings, Steins is expected to testify about his knowledge of alleged sexual activity involving female inmates and conversations he had about it with Judge Mullins and others. The civil trial is set to begin March 3rd in federal court in London.